According to the Alzheimer's Association, Alzheimer's is the sixth leading cause of death in the United States. Hello, my name is Corey Trammell, and today I'm going to talk to you about Alzheimer's. I will tell you a little about the disease itself, about whom it affects, medications, caregiving, and a personal experience I have with Alzheimer's. According to Alzheimer's Foundation of America, Alzheimer's disease dates back to 1906 when Dr. Alois Alzheimer, a German physician, presented a case history before a medical meeting of a 51-year-old woman who suffered from a rare brain disorder. A brain autopsy identified the plaques and the tangles that today characterize Alzheimer's disease. It is a progressive degenerative disorder that attacks the nerve cells and affects memory, language, and behavior. Specifically, there are two types of abnormal lesions that clog the brains of the individuals with Alzheimer's disease: beta-amyloid plaques, sticky clumps of protein fragments and cellular materials that form outside and around neurons, and neurofibrillary tangles, insoluble twisted fibers composed largely of the protein that build up inside the nerve cells. Although these structures are hallmarks of the disease, but according to the Foundation, scientists are unclear whether they cause it or are a byproduct of it. Now that you know a bit about the disease, let's go into whom it affects and some medications. Alzheimer's is the most common type of dementia, making up 60 to 80% of cases. Most of these cases are the ages of 65 years and older, but it has been known to strike those as young as 40. With these young cases, it usually happens when taking care of a loved one who already has Alzheimer's. But whether you are 65 or 40, being diagnosed with a disease is devastating, especially because there is no cure. There are a few medications that can keep the symptoms at bay: Aricept, Exelon, Radane, Cognex. These all help the cognitive symptoms, but not the emotional. The next thing after medicine is having a caregiver. The Alzheimer's Association states in 2012, 15.4 million family and friends provided 17.5 billion hours of unpaid care to those with Alzheimer's and other dementias. Care valued at $216.4 billion, which is more than 8 times the total sales of McDonald's in 2011. 80% of care provided in the community is provided by unpaid caregivers, and that 15% of them are long distance. Being a caregiver for with Alzheimer's can be stressful and emotional time. Family members can be difficult, rude, and even downright mean. This brings me to my personal experience with Alzheimer's. When I was 14, my great-grandmother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. It had already progressed quite a bit. My grandparents lived in Texas and traveled to take care of her, but she needed live-in care. So my mother moved us into her house. It started off that we just needed to assist her in her everyday chores, but then it progressed into feeding her, bathing her, and making her take her medications. She always called my mom by my grandma's name and me by some lady she knew growing up, Martha. I remember that I didn't understand why she couldn't remember us, but it finally did come to some sort of knowledge or understanding why she did not. She could be mean and never wanted us to help her, even though she could no longer do much. She was very stubborn. We eventually hospitalized her, and when they told us it was the end, all the family we had gathered to say their goodbyes. In her last hours, she was completely lucid. She remembered our names, even shared in some family stories. I guess you could say it was a gift to us to remember her by. Today, I talk to you about Alzheimer's. I informed you on what it was, whom it affected, some medications to treat it, the caregivers of Alzheimer's patients, and about my great-grandmother who had Alzheimer's. I hope this speech was informative and that you have a very nice day. Thank you.